Three.
Dave Scholler, Vikings Weekly. Sounds like it is. Having a blast here. Little Wednesday night. Getting ready for week to kick off with the snorri of Commanders and the Bears, or the Deadskins and the Bears, I like to call it. Chris Carter, well, he does catch touchdowns. Vikings Weekly, so we'll start off with the Vikes and we'll go around the league. Vikes got a win last week versus a team that I thought was well coached, but Young's just not ready to win that game yet. We're very fortunate. Harrison Smith finally showed up after the first 3 games. So we get to 1-3, which we need, but now we get the Chiefs coming up. And remember, I told you in the first Vikings Weekly this year that if we got to 1-4, we could still get to 9-8. Saying that, of course, we'd have to do really well in the division. We haven't played a division game yet. So we'll see. Let's just get to a couple of decisions here. 2nd and 2, 8 minutes left, up 8 points, and we're running the ball straight up the gut all day, 6 yards a pop. Great job. We call it trap play. Now it's 3rd and 4. We get thrown off the field basically on 3rd down. We don't convert. We go backwards. These are the kind of things that O'Connell just drives you freaking crazy. Again, another one of these young coaches with their head in their playbook, not invested in the team, just about his system and his plays. No, it's about winning the goddamn game. I've told you this before. I'll say it again. Today, it's more about doing it your way than winning the game. No, it's about winning the game. I'll coach any one of these guys any days of the week. I'd love to have them on the schedule. They're just foolish. It's not about your agenda. It's about winning the game. Need to run the ball more. If we want to have any idea with this week with the Chiefs, who are 3-1, we've got to run the ball more. And if we get to 2-3, that'd be great. But we can still get to 9-8. We're going to need a lot of help in divisions, things like that. So, Young was an effective game manager. You got to like what Frank Reich did from the guy. But this is typical of the NFL quarterback today. Great numbers and doesn't put up any points. And that's typical of the quarterbacks today. So in 30 years, when you're arguing with today's guys and you talk about how great their completion center, it's meaningless. They don't put up any points. So he has a great game, doesn't put up any points. All right. So Thielen was great. So glad we got rid of him. Sarcasm. Queasy, just a solid job. Our run game, 5.9 per carry. Jefferson, 2 TDs. Wanham probably saved the season there with that play. We got 5 sacks. Harrison Smith, 3 of them. Almost said Harrison Ford. Panthers controlled the time of possession, which is unusual, 38-21 to lose a game like that. We won the turnover battle. We lost the turnover battle 2-1. Still bad on forced turnovers, a couple of tip balls. And again, the Viking fans are just atrocious. You can't be any more atrocious than the Viking fans. We're not too good. We're pretty bad. We complain about everything. It's really quite amusing. I think Kirk Cousins was on the grassy knoll with President Kennedy that day. So it's when they win the game, it's not because of him. When they lose, it's all his fault. You can't have it both ways. So last week we win the game, they're killing him. So I'm like, all right, whatever you got, doesn't matter. Next game, let's go down the list here. We got the Vikings. Big division game in the division this past week. The Lions beat the Packers 34-20. I told you Love was not good. Told you. Montgomery was awesome for the Lions. 121 yards for Campbell. 121 yards for Montgomery. Campbell gets it. He's a great coach. 37-22 time of possession. Taking the clock and understanding that you just limit the Packers' chances because Love is not great. Lions next week basically have the 0-4 Panthers. That's going to be a fun game. That's a good game in the knockout pool. I'm thinking about using that one myself. The Packers have the 1-3 Raiders, and the coach who's most on the hot seat right now, I think, is the Raiders head coach, the former Bronco head coach. So he's in big trouble. I don't like to call for anybody's job, but it's just not looking good there. People turning on each other. Not a good situation. Again, should be a fun week of football here. Lions, maybe that knockout pick. Good choice, kids. Jaguars beat the Falcons 23-7. Ritter's starting to show some warts. Robinson was awesome again, though. 137 total yards. Trevor Lawrence is solid, not great. They won the turnover battle 3-0, and that's the difference. So the Jags get to 2-2, and the Falcons are at 2-2 now. Jags got the Bills, who are 3-1, and this is where that Jags schedule is going to start to hurt them just a little bit here. We're going to play some real teams here. The Bills are probably playing the best right now, even though they don't have the best record. Falcons have the Texans 2-2, who you got to be really excited about. Stroud, Jesus Lord, he's off to a great start. He broke a record. He got no turnovers yet. And like I said, Jags won the turnover battle 3-0. That allows you to win that game. Bills 48-20. I guess we can stop the press with the Dolphins being the greatest show on turf. They're not. Bills 48-20. Both teams are 3-1 now. Bills are at the Jags, we just mentioned. Dolphins host the Giants, which is another great knockout pool pick. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be in a good mood. Allen was perfect since week one, basically. Tua was solid. Dolphins ran the ball well, but they ran the ball well late against, prevent defenses. This game was, a lot of yards, a lot of numbers, but nothing big. Diggs had a huge day. Turnover battle was 2-0. Not the greatest show on turf. Like I said, Dolphins 8 penalties for 98 yards. I expect them to bounce back in a big way versus the Giants next week. We'll see how that goes. Then we go to Broncos beat the Bears 31-28 after the Bears were up 28-7. Bears 0-4, Broncos 1-3. I thought Fields played great, but a terrible decision down the stretch. All you got to do is kick the field goal there on 4th and 1. You don't need to go for it and win the game. And then, of course, you give it up on the other end. Again, these coaches, I just don't know what the hell decision they think. It's a tie game, kick the field goal. Bears got to play the Skins tomorrow night. And the Skins should get to 3-2 with this game, but the Skins are the Skins. There's something wrong there. I mean, I know everybody's afraid to fire Ron Rivera, all-around good guy, but it's time to let him go. Just hasn't turned it around there in enough time. I know Dan Schneider, but he's gone now. So enough of the excuses. They still haven't developed an offense. Howell's not bad. But Fields was great the other day versus the Broncos. Got to kick that damn field goal. Both teams ran the ball well. 2-0. Bears won the time possession battle, 33-26. Just an all-around good game. Russell Wilson made some good plays. Good win for the Broncos. Broncos host the 1-3 Jets, and this is one of the piss bowl games of the week. Both teams 1-3. The last week there was 2 crap games. The Bears-Broncos game both hosted 0-3 teams, and the Vikes-Panthers games. Those are the toilet bowls. Both of them were held in Flushing. And the Jets playing the Broncos, both 1-3. One of these teams will have a chance to sneak back in and get to 2-3. Like I said, the Bears looking at the Skins. I think the Bears have a good shot to get them. Ravens 28, Browns 3. Ravens look good. 2-2 versus Steelers next. Browns basically are 2-2. They have some buyage next week. Bye start this week, which kind of sucks for your knockout pool picks. Thompson was just awful for the QB. Ravens are a dangerous team. Jackson was great. 3-1 in the turnover battle. We'll see if Deshaun is back. Supposedly he is. And the Browns, I feel bad for this team. I feel like they could be better than 2-2 right now, but they're not. Titans 27 and beat the crap out of the Bengals. Bengals is just getting old here. If I have to hear that Jamar Chase is as good as Jefferson, I don't want to hear it. Jefferson putting these numbers up with Kirk Cousins. Jamar Chase, I mean, how do you have a game where you score 3 points? You don't get a game with 3 points when Jefferson's on the field. You just don't. And it just never happens. And, you got the better quarterback too. So please, let's not compare the two. It's not even close. Titans 27, Bengals 23. Titans have the Colts in a big first place game there. Both 2-2. Bengals played the Cards in another game like the Bronco-Jet game. 2 teams 1-3. Tennessee 8 for 13 on third down. Won the time possession battle 34-25. Tannehill was solid. Henry was good. Again, typical QB in the modern NFL. Joe puts up good, decent numbers, but no points. Again, that's what he's stat. These, analytics people just drive you crazy because it's not about results with them. It's about a number, and they just hate anything that's traditional, so they can't stand it. So bottom line is he put up numbers, but he didn't do anything. Didn't put any points on the board. Don't want to hear from you. Rams beat the Colts 29-23 in a good game. Rams are better than we think. 2-2. Colts are 2-2. They're at the Titans. Both teams ran the ball well. Richardson not terrible. Nakwa 9 receptions for 163 yards. A stud. 39-24 for the Rams in a time possession. There's a great coach. So McVay understands he's got to control the ball until Cooper Kupp gets back. They did control the ball, and he can control it even with the passing game. They controlled the clock, and that's how you win games, and that's the difference when coaching does matter, and we've seen it all across the NFL. Bucks 3-1, beat the hell out of the Saints. Disappointed in the Saints. Thought they'd be better at this point. I thought they had the most talent in the division by far. Still do. Bucks are 3-1. They don't have a game this week. Saints 2-2 played a 1-3 Pats, who are just falling backwards. Carr very disappointing. Mayfield was good. 3-1 in the turnover battle. Lots of penalties on both teams. Eagles beat the Skins last week, 34-31. The Eagles are now 4-0. Really careless game. The Eagles here could run the clock down, but then I know it hurts audibles. We throw a touchdown. You allow this other team to go down the field. I had the Eagles in a knockout pool. You allow them to score with a couple of seconds left. And if they went for 2, I feel like they would have got it. Of course, they didn't do that. QBs are both solid. Brown was awesome as a wide receiver spot. Bizarre clock management by the Eagles. I mean, you got to take that thing all the way down. They had no way to stop the clock. Instead, you audible, you get the touchdown there. Got to take that thing down and kick the field goal, especially with Elliott as the kicker. He's a stud. Eagles got to play the Chargers. This could be where the Eagles are vulnerable here. Herbert is really, really good quarterback. The Skins, like I said before, played the 0-4 Bears. Texans at the Steelers. Texans beat the crap out of the Steelers 30-6. Pickett is overrated, not good. I can't believe that 2-2 despite him. Stroud's very solid. Collins, 7 catches, 168. They were solid on third down. Texans have the Falcons, both teams 2-2. One of those teams is going to get to 3-2. It'll be a happy middle of October for one of those two teams. Steelers got to play the Ravens, who are 3-1. Basically, already played them. They played the Browns already. Now they can play the Ravens. This is a big game. If the Ravens could get this game, they're up 2, and then they have the tie break, which would be 3 at that point. Some really exciting games this week. Chargers beat the Raiders 24-17. Like I said, the Chargers play next week. They're going to be playing against the Eagles. O'Connell wasn't bad for the Raiders. Herbert wasn't great. They held on late. 1 for 11 on third down for the Raiders. 3-1 turnover battle for the Chargers. Like I said, Josh McDaniels, the first guy in the hot seat. I could see him getting fired during a bye week somewhere. They're playing the 2-2 Packers. I think the Pack will find a way to get that game. Cowboys beat the hell out of the Pats 38-3. Prescott was really solid. Jones was just awful. 35-24 in time possession. 3-0 in the turnover game. Cowboys played a 4-0 49ers in the game of the week. We'll see if the Cowboys show up. Pats played a 2-2 Saints, as we just mentioned. Both teams need that game in the worst way. Niners beat the hell out of the Cards, although the Cards, I think, are better than we think. Niners, like I said, just played the Cowboys. Purdy was perfect. Dobbs was really good. McCaffrey, 170 yards. Really impressive games this week. Chiefs, 23-20. I thought, the kid played pretty well. I thought Wilson did a great job this week. They get down 17-0. We have to see 8 million clips of Taylor Swift. Media's all over it, as they should be. I don't watch a football game to see Taylor Swift. Nothing against her personally. I don't want to see the Beatles up there either during a football game. I just want to watch the football game. Like I said, Chiefs got to play the Broncos. Jets got to play the Broncos. Chiefs got to play the Vikings. Pachero was great. Mahomes was horrible. It's as bad as I've ever seen him play, which doesn't bode well for our Viking defense this week. Seahawks then murdered the Giants. Giant fans are ready to jump off the bridge. Seahawks are 3-1. Basically don't have a game this week. The Giants are 1-3 to play the 3-1 Dolphins. Jones was sacked 11 times. Geno was solid. Hawks had a really good running game. 3 for 12 on third down for the Giants. 36-24 time possession and 3-0 in the turnover battle. Not winning games like that. So Brian Daboll's starting to feel the effects a little bit here of being in New York. And, like I said, Madison was really good last week for the Vikes. Going back to the Viking game, I was really happy with his performance. Kirk is probably his worst game as a Viking, but yet he managed the game down the stretch. And if we have to run the ball more, we should run the ball more. It's not about ego; it's about winning games. So we'll have to take it from there. But if you look ahead to this Chief game, we've got to find a way to run this ball. See if we can push the Chiefs around a little bit. I just don't know how Flores is gonna keep that. I think the defense is definitely better, but if we're playing the Chiefs, so we're not in a good mood because Mahomes is probably gonna be itching to play better. He's hurt the Jets with his legs late. Either way, very exciting games this week. Looking forward to seeing you on Telling You Like It Is Vikings Weekly next time, and we'd love to have you come on the show. Give us a shout. Let us know what you think. Love to hear from you. Take care.